All right, this is stage 4, actually stage 2 at the match, but the 4th and final stage for us. Scenario: while taking a leak, your sniper hide has been discovered and you must engage. Start: while standing in start box, handgun loaded and holstered, rifle stage condition 3, on the ground, pointed through the window, pointed down range. At signal, shooter will engage paper targets from the start box with their pistol. Move below the window prop and engage the falling steel targets with their pistol. Shooter will then ground the pistol by putting it through the window, acquire their rifle, and engage each steel rifle target with 2 hits each, no double taps, from each side and through the window prop for a total of 18 rifle hits minimum. Get ready.
Stand by!
Next time. Yeah, and you don't want to shoot your rifle when you get down there.
You know, come to think of it, I should not have started on the right side. Because hard as shooting.
Finish strong, go strong, and then. Go strong, get it out of the way.
That was a good run.
Yeah.
Stand by!
Call forward.
Perfect. Nice.
All right, we just finished our fourth stage.
Last one.
So in this one, as we saw in the description, you start standing, neutralize some pistol, go underneath this kind of tight confines of a barricade.
That was really cramped in there.
Super cramped, and what made it difficult is you have to navigate in and out. You have to shoot down the middle, then you have to get around the side, and you have to get around the left without hitting the barricade with your rifle fire.
Right.
Yep. Pretty challenging. At first I thought this is the perfect rifle for this stage because it being a bullpup.
You'd think so, yes.
Until we realized you had to go and shoot on the left side of the barricade, this being configured as a right-handed gun. The ambidextrous problem bit me.
Did come into play here.
Now, I could have potentially tried to be consciously aware of it and shot it left shoulder, which I normally shoot ambi with rifles at this match all the time.
Yep.
But honestly, I don't trust this, and I felt that I might creep up on it, especially in an awkward position.
Yeah.
So I just completely got out of there and shot it from sitting using my right shoulder so I wouldn't eat brass.
I, however, was able to switch and shoot this right-handed out the right side of the barricade.
Yeah, this gun does not have that problem.
Right. Yep. Not at all.
So this is something that, while the Tavor has treated me very well at today's match, this is an instance in which, while you may be able to train around this, I wasn't going to take the chance. And it's something you need to be thinking or cognizant of and thinking about when you're using this gun in a dynamic environment.
Yeah. You know, there was another interesting element that came up that I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
But when, you know, we have very deliberately chosen with this DMR version of this rifle to go with a fixed 2.5 power optic with a wide field of view. And a lot of people who are watching this, and a lot of people we've talked to, have said that, well, what's really the best way to go, or at least what's a very popular option, is a variable magnification scope, a 1:4 or 1:6. because it lets you pick. You know, for example, for this stage, I would have set it to 1. However, we've done some shooting with those, and what happens with them is when you change magnification, your eye relief changes. And those scopes, at least in my experience, are a little bit pickier about eye relief across the board compared to this thing. It's not quite as good as a red dot where you can just put your face wherever. So you, with that,
There's literally no eye relief concern whatsoever.
right, so you had a very easy time with a weird position on the gun still getting a sight picture. This was not that much worse. This was remarkably good. And I had some really awkward, weird, I don't know if it really comes through in the video, but I was not getting proper cheek weld and eye relief for a lot of those shots. And this worked in a way that a variable very well might not have.
I don't want to make a blanket statement that all variables change eye relief with the magnification setting, but they definitely, I don't know about, maybe there's some,
They do.
maybe there's some super expensive one that does it. Okay, but regardless, they do definitely change field of view. And your eye box, whether eye relief changes, your eye box can become more sensitive.
Yeah.
Eye box is where your head needs to be on the gun, not just distance away from the scope, but in the right position to get a clear sight picture.
Right.
So
This didn't give me any problems with that. This is deliberately supposed to be a compromise. What's the best scope to get the most use out of this rifle in the widest variety of situations? And so far, I'm quite happy with the choice that I've made here.
So on this stage, I was 60 seconds.
61 with a, you were 60 with a -1 on paper. I was 71 with 2 -1s on paper.
All right, let's stop that here and let's move on to the conclusions about the match in general. All right, so we finished the match.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I really thought this was your best opportunity so far to win.
I think it was, although one thing we didn't really consider so much is that this was not a particularly physical match. This was much more of technical shooting skills. Yeah, there was a little bit of movement, but there wasn't a lot of dynamic movement.
This was good. There was some getting in and out of position. Stage 4 here, our last one, getting in and out of that top confines was a little challenging.
Yeah.
There was a balanced exercise on the step ladder, but nothing that was feats of strength.
Right.
Nothing that was something that absolutely aligns with you, which is you are. And I know people say this on video a lot. They go, "Wow, Carl's really slow and methodical, and Ian is incredible." Well, here's the thing: what you're seeing is two ends of the spectrum.
I'm kind of an outlier there, I think.
You actually are.
If
You
I
were
may say so myself.
Ian is above average agility. In fact, I would say at this match that you're probably the most agile guy here, almost always.
It's possible.
And I will admit, I'm not the worst, but I'm just certainly nowhere near the best.
I do manage to make you look bad by comparison.
So what I'm saying is the differential between us is broader than it looks like on camera.
And to the point, when we have matches that bring out that sort of skill, that really helps me catch up.
Which, by the way, I design a lot of stages like that because this is a personal improvement match. So I have done a lot in terms of that. And actually, I'll say this, and I don't know that this is true, but someday when we have some stages that are really about feats of strength, that's something I'm actually pretty good at.
Strength alone, yeah, you'll probably take
So
it
if we're
now.
picking up really heavy crap, that's going to be a good day for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, and by the way, people have different body builds. Some people are agile, some people are strong. The goal is to try to make that happy middle of all of it. Yeah. But anyways, today we didn't have a lot of that going on. Was really more of a shooting discipline, challenging skill set thing.
Right. And that's an area where you excel better.
It is.
Yeah, that's what came through. I had my hopes. I shot first of the two of us on that last stage, and when I turned in a 71 second time, I knew all I had to get to win was for you to completely time out.
Oh, all I had to do was time out.
And we came close. You were only 60 seconds away from timing out.
I got halfway to timing out. So halfway through, you're like, make that,
No.
keep missing that last shot for 60 seconds.
There you go.
And then we'll be good to go.
So
It is what it is. It's friendly competition, but
Yes.
you're going to get better because what's going to happen is first you're going to learn to close your dust cover every time you're done.
yeah, yes, I am. And I'm going to learn to properly seat the magazines.
Yes.
That's
Now,
an issue.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny. I have actually relatively little shooting time on an AR. And it will be fun for me to actually practice. Now that I have an AR that I really like, something that's not just a generic pull off the pile sort of whatever random mix of components. Now we have an AR that is very consciously and deliberately designed to be, I think, the best an AR can be. It'll be fun to practice on this and really develop skills specific to this rifle.
we're going to, this match absolutely clarified to me that what we need to do with this is we're going to take you out and we're going to have a series, some videos at least,
Yep.
of doing really AR-centric, understood, but AR drills to get you to have the handling and manipulation of this gun down blindfolded.
Right.
I mean, we're talking malfunctions, all of it. Now, I just went through a class that we're going to have some videos on, and I've always been a class junkie. So I've kind of got that hardwired, and we're going to do that for you because you need that with this, and we want you to squeak the most performance out of this gun that you possibly can.
Yep. Definitely.
And by the way, that's the way to do that, is honestly to concentrate on one gun. Right. Which is hard for us because we're always doing stuff like this.
And I really enjoy doing something different every week. But at the same time, it will be a nice change of pace to have one rifle that I'm just really good with.
I think you might come to find enjoying winning once in a while too. And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean actually you turned in great scores today. You're going to turn in even better scores when you get the weapons of manipulation down. Yep. And there is a certain amount of excitement and fun, no doubt about it, about coming out here and just dominating with your AR.
I wouldn't know, but I look forward to finding out.
It's coming, and you already started today.
All right, enough on me and this thing. You hate this, detest it, it's the worst rifle ever. That's how we came in here.
I wasn't going to say, I didn't say worst rifle ever.
I know, that's why I had to say it for you.
I came into this predisposed to not like the Tavor today. We did a time trial test in the desert. I didn't turn in the best times with it. I turned in okay times.
Yeah.
And then I did the wrong thing and compared it directly with an AR, and of course I did better with the AR.
Yep.
And then we did the mud test, and it was not good in that. That kind of was concerning. The handling of the gun off the clock feels awkward. It's got a weird balance. I don't care for some of the manipulation. When you bring it up here, it feels heavy, feels awkward. The mag insertion location is awkward and different compared to what I'm used to. The charging handle here, when you have a sling on it, kind of tends to get in the way. I don't have a sling on it right now. The fact that it's not really ambi capable, or it's ambi possible but not really ambi friendly, is a problem. And then we took
extras.
Right, and so normally on the clock we come to find out, we'll find a gun and we'll go, wow, this gun's really cool, and then we put it on the clock and we run it through the 2-gun match, and our conclusion was, wow, that gun is not cool. I'm actually going to go with the exact opposite. I came out here thinking, I don't think I like this gun, and all of those attributes that were the not an AR attributes kind of vanished.
Okay.
And when I started shooting with the goal of getting quick and fast and accurate hits, at least at a 2-gun challenge match, the gun kind of went away and it just worked.
Nice.
I had no problem.
That's what it should do.
I had no problem getting hits. I didn't find any of the ergonomics to get in the way once I was actually concentrating on what mattered, which was the stage, not the gun.
Yep.
It was short and handy to get in and out of weird positions with, although the ambi problem did concern me on stage 4. I had no malfunctions. And I think what this boils down to is that it's a gun that was designed to be under a different paradigm in weapons handling manipulation, a different manual of arms.
Right.
And you cannot judge this by how you would judge an AR-15.
Okay.
Now, that said, today,
I will say before everyone else does, of course, some of the complaints you have are matters where you like the AR better because you have shot ARs for decades.
Yes.
And if you shot a Tavor for decades, a lot of the issues you have would be non-issues, and you might pick up an AR and complain about various idiosyncrasies of the AR. I think someone brand new to rifles, like if you'd shot this for 10 years, and then first time you pick up an AR, you're going to look at this charging handle and go, what is that? Seriously, this? Are you people stupid?
but let's not candy coat this. There are some serious deficiencies to consider. So, what you're doing here is making a gun overall length shorter. The only reason,
Yes.
the only reason to make a bullpup, there is only one reason, is to retain barrel length but have a shorter gun.
Yep.
There is no other reason. As a result of that, you have some weird stuff going on. You've got transfer bars from the safety and the trigger to function the gun. That can fail or get dirty. You've got a somewhat unusual magazine change, which is, the Israelis have done a great job on handling that. I mean, the fact is, when you slam a mag in and just hit this button and it closes the bolt, this is well thought out.
Yep.
Really well thought out. They've handled that.
They fixed the mag release.
They fixed the mag.
the original
Now, the
Tavor.
original Tavor had a problem. This mag release is good to go if it's not fouled.
Right.
However, the gun is not as accurate as an AR.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that right off the bat. The guy that owns this did some thorough testing with it. He said the gun comes in on a good day 2.5, generally 3 minute of angle. Some of your Tavors may shoot better. I didn't do it. He did, but he said 2.5 to 3 is about average.
Okay.
That's about what I've experienced with other things I've seen.
Okay.
I didn't test it on, it didn't matter. Okay, that's one thing. So you're giving up some accuracy. And one of the reasons to have a long barrel is to have longer range ballistic or terminal ballistics.
That's true. If you're only shooting 50 yards, it doesn't really matter if the bullet's going 33 or 31.
50 yards at 10.5 inch AR barrel doesn't matter any more than a 20 inch barrel. And you can mitigate a lot of that with 77 and 75 grain bullets.
Yeah.
However, so you're retaining a 20 inch barrel so that when you're making a shot at 600 yards, you're having still terminal effect. Problem is, if it's now a 2.5 to 3 minute gun, you've got an 18 inch mechanical circle of hit zone at 600 yards, plus shooter inaccuracy, plus the fact you can't monopod it normally. So I would say that the advantages of the shortness are sometimes, or to a large degree, lost by the inherent accuracy of the mechanical accuracy of the gun.
Right.
So I'm left with a weird question. I don't know.
I would do. I think for most people, the answer is why bother? Unless you really are that dude who's jumping in and out of an APC with 12 other dudes, where it becomes this APC fits eight guys, or 3 if they don't have bullpups, that kind of thing. But what other situations? I mean, the original purpose for some of the militaries that adopted these things were to replace rifles and submachine guns.
I got blood on his gun. Oops.
Wipe that
So
off.
yeah, and I
Do
think
we
that's
really? Are you going to use this like a submachine gun?
you know,
need to be
in a
that.
select fire, guys, if you're jumping in and out of vehicles and you wanted one gun to be able to hit a man at 300-400 yards and neutralize them, and still kick in the door and act like it's a submachine gun, I think that's what
where it makes sense.
that's where the Israelis were going for.
Yeah.
And I think the Tavor does fit that bill. Now, the fact that it's not as ambi as it should be for going through CQB concerns me. But outside of that, it does fit that bill.
Yes.
In a semi-automatic, guys, as an American rifleman, I think that it's a question of I really am usually not left kind of stumbling on words, but I'm like, I don't get it.
All right.
It's a good gun. It's an okay gun. If you're willing to put the time in, I think you can be proficient with it, as proficient as you can be with an AR. But a AR at the same price point or even less will outperform it. I don't
There you
want to
go.
say that because it actually did really well today.
It did.
It's
I
just
think you did really well handling
I
it.
can't come to any other conclusion though.
All right. And on that note, we will wrap up this match. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this sort of thing, please do consider checking out our Patreon page. While we did borrow that, we did not borrow this. So that funding there is what really makes it possible for us to continue this channel all the time. And more coming. We got big plans still. So stay tuned. Check out the videos on YouTube and Full30. Subscribe and tell your friends. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and you don't want to put your rifle down there. Come to think of it, I should finish strong, and then go strong, get it out of the way.